What's up, everybody? I'm Taylor. Welcome to my channel, and this is my comic book review show. It's where I go over this stack of books I bought this week and let you know what I thought of them. I usually go in the order of worst to best, and this week's no different. And yeah, let's get into it. I've got a few books that I really just disliked. And we're starting with DC's Future State. Which one is this even? The Kara Zor-El Superwoman #1. That just rolls off the tongue, doesn't it? All these Future State. DC's got some issues titling their books. They have way too long of titles with subtitles and all this mess. And they're a mess of a company right now. And this Future State is sort of what's come out of the end of the Thomas Snyder, Dark Knight, Death Metal, Multiverse, Fracturing, whatever the hell you call it. I don't even know. This book has interesting art. It's kind of illustrated almost like a kid's book a little bit. The story's just disjointed and, kind of all over the place and just doesn't make a whole lot of flowing sense. I mean, it's a really simple story when you boil it down, but it didn't ring for me. I just didn't care for it. So what's up, everybody? I'm reviewing comics. I'll sort of chat a little bit. I just kind of wanted to dive on in and get this stack of books going. So thank you. Welcome, M3. Welcome, Las Cruces. This is a random one I picked up. The 27-run Crush. It's a small press, and I have a feeling it's kind of a, maybe if not the art, it's not the writer and artist's first book. I think it's just kind of early in their process. So I don't want to shit on it too much, honestly, but it's got some interesting ideas. It's just not told very well. There's an intro that's supposed to explain what's going on in the world, but it really doesn't. And then it leads to these other two characters, this woman and her wolf dog that I think are the main characters. And then the entire rest of the book is kind of a battle sequence. But even the battle sequence doesn't make a lot of sense. It's out of order. It seemed I really did think that some of it was out of order. I thought there might be like a binding issue or something, or a printer error issue. But I don't think there is. It's just kind of, I don't know, kind of muddled. And I didn't care for it. It's just not a lot there and not enough there for me to want to continue the story. So, all right. Chris Claremont, Anniversary Special #1, would start with Danny Moonstar. Okay, Chris Claremont, obviously a legend. Obviously did some great things with X-Men and stuff back in the 90s. This should have been like a 20-issue arc, but he tried to cram it all into one issue, and it's just not good. I mean, on the best of days, Chris Claremont struggled with single-issue stories. He was great at overarching themes and long, drawn-out, complex plots, but if you had him do a single-issue tale, they're always kind of weak, in my oh-so-humble opinion. And this is just, it's got different artists and different, and on each page, and it's a tribute to Chris Claremont and some of the stuff, but it's just not good. It really isn't. There's a couple pages by Bill Sienkiewicz that I really like the art of, but the storytelling is just not strong. So, what's up, Jam? What's up, Low Budget? Welcome. Erratic #2. This is a high school-ish tales, really cartoony artwork. Following up the first story, there's some interesting ideas in it, and I'll probably keep it going, but it's borderline for me. It's just over-the-top high school drama and an underwhelming superhero-ness that just doesn't seem like a great mix. This kid has powers 10 minutes a day that they really don't get into yet, and it's a 5-issue series, so at some point they're going to have to ramp it up and actually explain what's going on, or have a little bit more drama. The next issue might, I'm hoping, because it's the middle of the 5-issue arc, but I don't know. Without spoiling it, there's just not a lot in this issue, really. All right, what do we got here? Future State Superman Wonder Woman #1. All right. I think the point of it is like that Clark Kent's kid, the new Superman or whatever, is just kind of dumb. That's just what I'm getting out of the Future State. He just seems to make bad decisions through each of these stories, and I get it's probably supposed to be more like inexperienced rather than stupid, but they're kind of just stupid. And the villain's stupid too. I think it's a Grant Morrison villain, and I think Grant Morrison purposely made a stupid villain back in the day just to see if he could get away with it. And he could. This story can't. It's just dumb. Yeah. All right. I know. And maybe I'm just cranky. But no, there's some books in here I like, just not those. And I read these a few days ago. So this one Like DC Future State, it's Robin Eternal. Yeah, I mean, there's something in here about a Lazarus Pit and Brooke coming back to life. I mean, there's not a lot there that like stuck with me memory wise. It really just kind of like, all right, sure, it's fine, I guess. There's a couple Future State books I really enjoy, like a very small amount of them. The rest of them are just kind of, I get what DC's doing. They're trying to give new writers and artists a chance, but like either the editorial's squandering the chance or these writers and artists are just not right fits for like DC or for a lot of like superhero stuff. I've heard a lot of them have really great indie stuff, and maybe that's kind of where their strengths lie, but in the superhero realm, they're just not doing it for me for the most part. And yeah, I wish I could talk more about that book, but there's nothing that's stuck in my memory we're chatting about. Sorry. Gwenom versus Carnage #1. It's fine. It's a King in Black tie-in. It's just kind of, you don't need to read it. It's kind of useless. It's kind of like a little bit of a retelling of like Gwenom, how she came to be a little bit. I mean, and it's just rambles through a little bit of a story, a little bit, a very little bit again. And I don't know, the art's cool. All right, now Planet of the Symbiotes #1. This is the one people are probably going to want to pick up because it's got got probably a first appearance in it. Probably it's a couple different tales. Is it a couple different? I mean, yeah, it's again. You don't. It's a couple different tales. About a couple different symbiotes and stuff, and it's of the tie-ins this week. It's one of it's average. Yeah, I was gonna say it's one of the better ones, but it's really not. Like it's an average tie-in. It's sort of like this is the problem Marvel's had is their tie-ins to their events lately are just kind of useless and not very good. They don't really advance the story. They don't really do anything, which I sort of get. You want the main tale to be told in the actual story, but like these King in Black ones are like, all right, like you don't nothing's necessary. And this one has probably maybe a little bit more necessary than most, just because it does have a spec, and that new character might end up being something long term. But it's Donny Cates. They might end up killing the guy off next issue. So take it for what it's worth. I actually kind of enjoyed this one. This is Thunderbolts #1. But I mean, it's kind of like a blatant like theft / ripoff of the idea of the Suicide Squad. They just turned the Thunderbolts into the Kingpin's version of the Suicide Squad with a couple like B to D list supervillains that are like supposed to go somehow stop Null, and they have to go and meet up with somebody that has a plan, and half the team dies within the first couple things. I mean, it's very Suicide Squadish, squad-like, whatever. It's not bad. There's some characters in there I like, and there's also characters like, why the hell would you want them on a team anyways? Like Batroc the Leaper, he leaps. So, but it's not bad. I mean, of the ones that of the tie-ins, it's my favorite of the week, which it's a low bar to hurdle. All right, Teen Titans Future State #1. This is the other spec book of the week. It's got the first appearance of Ted Talk or Red X or TEDx or whatever the hell his name is. It's another muddled story, and there's also a couple other maybe first appearances, sort of, if you really stretch the definition of first appearance. Something happened, and something in the future happened, I think, and something came back into the past to try and fix something in the future, probably, and the other characters have to try and figure out how to deal with it, and Nightwing is cranky. It's a muddled story. It's just not very clean and not overly coherent. But if you want to spec it, this is the one to hunt down. All right. Future State, what do they call this one? Is it just Future State Green Lanterns? That'd be nice. Yeah, Future State Green Lantern #1. I didn't mind this one. I know some people, if you watch a lot of reviews, they kind of hated it. But I also think Green Lanterns get a lot of hate. Because something happened to depower all the lanterns, all the green ones anyways. And so there's three stories in here. They're not bad. The main story is John Stewart, and it's more of like, it reminds me of like Killraven or some of the 70s Marvel sci-fi stuff from like Epic Illustrated. So I know most of you are probably too young to know what the hell that is, but it's just kind of a weird-ish sci-fi / sword slinging tale. Swashbuckling. That's the word I'm looking for. Swashbuckling. One buckles a swash, or swashes a buckle, or some shit. That story's pretty enjoyable. And then there's Jessica Cruz fighting. The Jessica Cruz story kind of reminded me of what's that video game? Dead Space, I think, where you're playing a mechanic and has to like wander around the ship and put together like things and the stuff to fight all these aliens, and you're the only one left, and you're not really all that qualified because you're just a mechanic. That's kind of the Jessica Cruz story. And then there's Guy Gardner, who just wants to open a bar. I mean, it's Guy Gardner in the third story. It's not, again, not horrible, nothing fantastic, but it's of the Future State ones, it's one of the better ones of the week. Here we go. I bought this as a cover buy. I've not been keeping up with the Immortal Hulk. And honestly, yeah, here's my confession. Again, it's not, I put the stack together right after I read them. And there's no She-Hulk in this issue. It's a filler-ish issue. There's the leader. I remember that much. But there's the leader in this. Yeah, all right. Sorry. Nothing else I can really talk about on that one. Devil's Red Bride, number 4. This is where everything you thought you knew is twisted and horribly wrong. It's that part of the story. Art is great. The story is not bad. It's a samurai tale, kind of a Seven Samurai Kurosawa / meets a little bit of supernatural, and gets a little dark and evil. But yeah, it's everything you thought you were rooting for kind of gets flipped on its head and twisted upside down. Sort of like the, yeah. I was going somewhere with that and I just lost it. Now again, art's cool, not bad story. Average. This is the average part of the stack. Red Sonja, the Superpowers. This was a cover buy. I like the cover. Couldn't tell you who did the cover because I didn't research. That's like a lot of work. But I dug the cover. Red Sonja is Red Sonja. She's the baddest badass in all the land, apparently, in a chainmail bikini. And these superheroes come to her land, I think, through time and space and possibly another dimension. And they underestimate her, and she kicks their ass. Sorry, it's a little spoilery, but you could have probably just guessed it if it's a Red Sonja story. Like that's just Red Sonja. Like the issues I've had with the Red Sonja, all of the Red Sonja ones, is like there's no weakness to the character at all, and so she always seems to just kick ass. That's it. It's just kind of like, all right, if you just want to watch somebody just kick ass without really having to worry about whether or not she's going to, buy a Red Sonja book. The Union, number 2. This is a King in Black tie-in 2. This one actually ties in a little bit. I'm actually enjoying this. It's ragtag team of Brits, and they're trying to save some stuff. The leader dies right away, so they have to get a new leader, and then one of the heroes, tragedy befalls them, and the other team members have to deal with it. But it's an entertaining tale. I like the Union Jack character in this, and there's a lot of new first appearances in these couple issues. So decent. It's hard to talk about without really spoiling this one, but I liked it. What do we got here? Oh, Future State Justice League number 1. This cover really has nothing to do with it either. I just like the cover. But it's Justice League in the future. I can't remember if this is the magistrate part of it. No, this is different. There's part of the problem with Future State and DC is there's a couple different futures going on, or a couple different times. And so if you're trying to piece these all together into one story, it's just not going to work. But some of them do tie in, some don't. This one sort of ties in with the new Batman and the new Wonder Woman and the new Superman, and they're all part of the new Justice League, but they don't know who each other are, although half of them still don't have masks, so I don't know how they haven't figured out each other's superhero identity, and they don't hang out outside of work, and someone's betrayed them, even though the whole point of them trying to get together and stay distant is so that no one could betray them. So it's okay. It's not awful, but it's not going to go anywhere, I don't think. So, what is this one? Oh, okay, yeah, Man's World, Jurassic Park in space with cranky people. That's what this one is. The people go to this island to have a nature experience and kill some glorious animals that want nothing to do with it. And this is the start of something where I'm sure it's going to go horribly wrong, a la Jurassic Park. It's fine. All right. Autumnal. Yeah, autumnal. I think autumnal number 4, where leaves are evil. Okay, you know the horror movie where part of the horror movie where they come across the strange outcast that kind of explains what's going on, but nobody really believes them because they're kind of nuts. Although it turns out they're probably right. I like it's not bad. I'm still going to keep reading this, but like the rest of the issues I thought were better. They were a slow horror burn where you didn't really know what was going on. And just to have like an info dump issue where like one character just kind of explains it all instead of just kind of keeping the slow reveal, the peeling away the layers, as it were. You know, it's a little disappointing. There's a chance that like not everything said is accurate, which I'm kind of hoping, but like a unreliable narrator, as it were. But we'll see. Not bad. The Sword number 2. I like this one. This is what's her face, Abigail Brand, taking over spacey things and trying to combat Null, and the whole planet's all been nullified, and she's got her own ragtag band of misfits she put together, and she's setting him off to do her bidding. She's like manipulative and kind of cruel, but an effective leader, from what I can tell. And her team is kind of snarky and somewhat useless without her. Or the people she's picked have the history of being somewhat useless or somewhat easy to overcome. So she's trying to deal with some of that and somehow still fight a global threat that she doesn't know what's going on. So I'd say it's worth reading if you like that kind of story. You know, it's like here we go. Which one's this? Oh, Future State Dark Detective number 1. This is probably my favorite of the Future State books of the week. It's got Bruce Wayne in it, and I dig this cover too. I don't know who did it, but I just dig it. It's got a couple different stories. This is one of the pricier ones. It's a $7 book. It's had 3 stories in it, if I remember right. The main story is the one, what happened to Bruce, and then there's a couple other ones in here too. I can't remember, but the main story is decent. I love the coloring, honestly, and like I don't often talk about it because coloring in a book, I mean, it's usually if you notice the coloring, it's bad. It's sort of like lettering. If you notice the lettering, it's kind of like, oh, that's not good. But this coloring is like the way they're dripping Gotham in this new Magistrate Run era is like really bright and neon and like bathed in like these like secondary, tertiary colors. It's just kind of fantastic. And yeah, I really enjoyed the coloring of that. And the main story as well. The backup stories aren't bad. There's nothing super memorable about them, or at lest nothing I can really recall 4 days later, which is not great. It might speak to my memory more than anything else, but I do remember most of these books. It's just kind of part of my test too. Is like if it's something that sticks with me more than like a day, then I'm like, oh yeah, that's great. But if it just kind of fades into the background, it's going to be an average book to me. And this is above average in the main story. Their other stories are kind of average. Sweet Tooth: The Return. This is kind of a retelling of Sweet Tooth. It's I think, or it might be a continuation. I've not finished the original Sweet Tooth run. I've read the first arc, and I kind of get the gist of what happened to the world. But it's Jeff Lemire. It's definitely got some Jeff Lemire-ish tropes, like father issues and old cranky badasses and outcasts trying to like band together. There's a lot of that in a lot of Lemire's writing. It's present here, definitely. If you like his other stuff, you're going to like this. If you don't, you're not. It's just it also has Lemire's art, which a lot of people like his writing and don't like his art because it's kind of very loose and kind of sketchy and inky. But I enjoy it. So yeah, if you enjoyed the first run of Sweet Tooth, you'll probably like this. If you enjoyed Family Tree, you'll probably like this. If you read any of Gideon Falls, that's a little bit different flavor of Lemire, but it's still Lemire-ish. Lemirian. Homesick Pilots number 2. An evil haunted house has captured a punk rock band, or part of a punk rock band. And yeah, now it's gotten into the Friday the 13th, the series part of it, where like the main character has to go fetch things that the house has lost throughout the years. It's really interesting. Kind of a more character background here and like the development of why the band became like formed, the punk rock band. And it's an interesting tale. It's a nice twist on the horror stories. And I don't want to spoil a whole lot of it, but yeah, I liked it. 7 Secrets number 6. It's the end of the first story arc. I like Seven Secrets a lot. It's you still don't entirely know what's going on, or what the secrets are, but some of them you're starting to get the idea of, and you're trying to figure out who betrayed the keepers of the secrets, and it's got to be one of their own. And it's fast-paced, it's frenetic. The art is clean and pretty easy to follow, and a lot of like fast-paced action in this one. And it kind of doesn't really wrap anything up, but it's a good, satisfying pushing the story forward. All right, Darth Vader number 9. Darth versus Ochi, I don't know, whatever the hell the guy is. Ochi, the Sith killer, Sith hunter, whatever. I don't know. Star Wars names, I'm, whatever. Darth is a badass. Yeah, okay. Speaking of, Space Bastards number 1. This is written, Derek Robertson did the art. I mean, he did, The Boys and a couple other things. Was it Metropolitan back in the day? I think. I can't remember if I remember right. But this really reminds me of like 90s, early 2000s British, like over the top, like super violent sci-fi. Kind of Judge Dredd-ish, kind of Death's Head, kind of, what's the other? Major Pain, I think was one of them. I can't remember the other. There's so many of them. Lobo, the Postal Service. Ish, or like if the Postal Service had bounties on their heads and like every time the letter changed hands, it went up in value. That's this book. It's over the top. It's ridiculous. It's a lot of fun. And I really like, just from the title and the cover, I'm like, I will get it, but I don't think I'm going to dig it. But I really liked it. I really thought it was a lot. It was, for what it was, it's up there for the top books of the week for me. It kind of reminds me of the same sort of tone, not the same sort of story, but like the same sort of tone as Scumbag. So if you're liking Scumbag, I'd pick up Space Bastards number 1. Origins number 3. This book started with a really slow start, and I really hated the first issue. The second issue got better, and this is getting better still. The art also kind of reminds me of Ted McKeever, if you remember reading like Stray Toasters or any of the stuff he did back in the day. And it's a twisted sci-fi story of a robot raising a clone to try and save what's left of humanity, but also trying to save robots from things. So I'm still not 100% sure as far as what the goal is, but it's an interesting enough ride now that I'm in for the rest of this miniseries. And it's just, it's gotten a lot better from the first issue. The first issue I was like, I don't care. Second issue made me care. Third issue, I'm like, all right, yeah, I'll give it a whirl and see what's going on. All right, number 1. Creepy, sad clowns. If you liked Ice Cream Man, you're going to like this. It's same writer. It's it's sort of horror, sort of melancholy, sort of walking the line between like straightforward and twisted. And I think each issue is going to have a different artist, and it's like each issue is one standalone story about a clown, and it's going to be like a weird thing. I'm sure it's probably going to get picked up for some kind of TV thing down the line. It just kind of has that kind of, vibe to it. But I like this quite a bit. I wasn't sure if I would. Clowns are creepy, and that sort of doesn't really, they don't even really mention the creepy factor about the clown. The main character in this issue, just kind of a loser with a really positive outlook on life. And it just kind of goes from there in sort of like falling down if the movie / kind of, it just like branches into a direction where you're like, that's just bizarre and fun. And like I said, a little bit twisted. So there you go. And my pick of the week, which I have to come up with a different name still, but the best book I like this week is the last issue of Red Mother. Red Mother, if you've been reading it or been following along, it was one of those, another slow burn things, but it's not nothing about the story felt unnecessary, and this is the wrapping up of it all, and like it wraps it up in an interesting way, where the themes of the thing are like loss and recovery, and battling your own inner demons and outer demons, I guess. I don't want to give a whole lot of spoilers away, but I would say Red Mother is one you could probably pick up on a trade paperback or just wait for it, like the collect edition to come out, because it's not something that I foresee jumping crazy in value. So if you're in it for the value, you're probably not going to get here. Art is great. Covers are some of the better covers I've seen, and the storytelling is just kind of crisp and straightforward ish. But yeah, it wraps it up very well, is what I'm trying to say. It's not like how I expected it necessarily to wrap up, but that's good. I think if it's an expected ending, well, then then it's not great storytelling. But this, like I said, I really enjoyed it. So pick it up. All right, thank you everybody. I appreciate it. You can see who's got in the chat. Sorry, I was just kind of I wanted to get through all this before I said hi to most folks. So a low budget, him, Noob, Joe, Painted Pages, Gary B, Geeky Guy. Yeah, I kind of just went live without telling anybody. Slim, MEQ. Yeah, I just kind of wanted. It is sort of Iron Man Redux. Joe. Yeah. Anyways, hi everybody. Hi James. You're not late. I just kind of did this one unannounced. I kind of wanted to get in, get live, and get through the reviews. And now I'll just start a chat with the audience for a little bit. I have to go walk my dog and a couple other things and then get ready for the Packers to play the Rams. If you're watching this live, if you're watching it in the future, I'm sure the Packers have already destroyed the Rams. So yeah, green and yellow. What's up, Chip? Yeah. So those were my books of the week. If you read any of them, let me know what you thought. If there's anything I'm missing that I probably should have picked up, also let me know. And yeah, I hope you're all doing well. Oh, Jay Blitz, I saw you in the chat earlier. Hi, how you doing, sir? And did I miss anybody else? Probably. If I missed you, I'm sorry. But I'll be here for a few more. So go Rams. Joe, you're dead to me. There you go, James. Go Packers. Yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting week for comics on a lot of books, and I need to. I don't know if I'm going to keep up with all the future state stuff because it's just so much damn money, and it's just kind of like there's a few I will. Like I'll probably keep up with the Dark Detective and or the Future Detective, whatever the fuck it's called. And I like to do Wonder Woman character quite a bit, but the rest of them we'll see. So Taylor Winder sent you a pic of the Obi-Wan set. Oh, thanks, M3. I'll take a look at it when I get a chance. Oh yeah, you said something up in the chat. Hang on. I had to scroll up. Dead Space was a great game, Gary. Yeah, I agree. Oh, nice. Good drone pick. Thanks, M3. Yeah. So what's everybody else up to this fine Saturday? Anything going on that's worth mentioning? Like I said, I just wanted to get this kind of out. I still trying to figure out my schedule and how I'm going to do things on this channel. There's a couple things that are in flux. Like I'm trying to get away from just opening mystery boxes because it's just not a sustainable way to talk about shit. And it also, there's only so many you can open before you get bored. So I am to probably focus more on like the review end of things and maybe a few other things. Because there's other people that do other stuff better than me. Like I don't have connections to interview a whole lot of folks. I don't want my channel to turn into an auction channel. And yeah, so I'm trying to just sort of muddle my way through life until I figure out what I'm doing. I also might change my name of the channel too. We'll see. That's up in the air too. So if you're following me and all of a sudden like you're wondering who am I following and it's still got my ugly face on the thumbnail, it's still gonna be me. It's just I might not have my first and last name plastered all over the internet forever. So we'll see. Painted, yeah, they're up on my yeah. You definitely get a pretty fly shirt. They're up on my website. If you're not seeing it on the main page, there's a little dot like 3 hashes on the left, or if you click on the apparel link on the upper left corner of on my website, it should take you to all the clothes items there, and the shirt should be in there. I'm gonna end up redesigning the site because I know it's hard for people. Like if it doesn't show up on the main page, it's not super clear to navigate for folks to get to the second and third and multiple pages. So I'm gonna work on fixing that. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. So Remy Q, R-A-M. Yes, Las Cruces waiting is hard. Yeah, go and yeah. My picks today. I'm taking the Packers because they're my team, and I also like the Bills. So yeah, thanks. Yeah, thanks, Payton. I've got some few other ones in the pipelines. Maybe if you watched my live last night, there's a hoodie I might throw up. We'll see. Just if you don't watch my live last night, no big deal. I'm playing around with a few options, and I've ordered some samples and stuff to try and figure out what I'm doing with some of the other ones. So, yeah, waiting. Yeah, I have to go walk my dog next too. I gotta get him walked before I can go watch the Packers. It's a very exciting day, walking the dog and then watching football. Football thing is actually kind of exciting, but yeah. I'm also probably going to start like some of these. Like I might end up selling my entire run of Red Mother, and I might end up selling like collections of books. So if there's anything you missed and you want to get the individual issues of, let me know. I'm getting to the point where I realize I don't need every issue of every comic. In fact, I don't have the room for it. I don't have the money for it. So I might resell some of these like when they're all finished, if that makes sense. So if you wanted to get all 12 issues of Red Mother, let me know. That's the only one I can think of right now that's finished run. Yeah. So, I did an interview where I did a chat the other day too with Small Town Collectibles and DJ Links, where we were talking about whether or not the Punisher logo should be retired. That'll be on Small Town's Collectibles channel on Monday. It's interesting, so watch that if you get a chance. And SCG, Southern Comic Guy always does on Saturdays. It's a good auction. I might jump in there and take a look for a few minutes too. You can usually get some bargains on Saturday afternoon. You wait till Sunday night, you go to like Jay Blitz's Big Boy auction and stuff, and then you got like 8,000 people in there, and you're paying like Hoku bucks. Not bad though, but just saying. So, all right, guys, I'm gonna get out of here. Thank you all for watching. I greatly appreciate it, and as always, don't be a dick.